I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight. We thank you for all the many blessings that you've given each one of us. And God, we thank you as we do every time, God, that we live in a nation where we're free and God, we can come and do something like this and have an open forum. And God, we just thank you for that. God, we pray that you would protect those freedoms. And God, we thank you for those who serve to protect those freedoms. And God, I just pray that you would be with us tonight as we discuss business, God, for the school district. Pray that you give us wisdom and help us to do what's best for the kids of the district, and God, that we would make decisions that would help this district grow and become a stronger school district. God, I pray that you would be with all the teachers and administration as the year winds down. God, I pray that you'd help them to finish strong and be with all the students as they finalize all their testing and things. God, I pray that you would just help them to be able to retain the knowledge that they need to do well on those tests. And God, I just pray that you would just bless this meeting tonight. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen.
All right, we call the May 8th, 2023 Huntsville Board of Education meeting to order. We do have a quorum. We want to welcome employees and guests. Mr. Warren, go.
Okay, well, thank you, and happy Teacher Appreciation Week, everybody. We have our first item up is the consent agenda.
Pencil or pen?
And it is normal, except for we had a little adjustment from the minutes from 4/17 that we needed to make, and then we have our school choice, which technically doesn't have to have board approval, but we want to put that in there for you all to see and be able to. But I will take a recommendation for approval.
Are there any questions regarding the consent agenda? Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Make a motion.
Awesome. Motion by Nick, second by Josh, all in favor?
Okay, next on is our special reports. We'll start off with Skills USA.
How's everybody doing today?
How are you?
Trying to get through this. So she has a packet for everyone that kind of explains what we're doing and what we're asking for. So with the cost of everything, we're looking at possibly doing a bed and breakfast instead of a hotel.
Back up and tell them what you're doing.
Oh, we're going to the conference. Maybe I should just let you talk. You know more of this than I do.
We gotta go to the national conference in Atlanta, and we've got 10 students we're taking. We have 7 competitors, two alternates, or 3 alternates, yeah. Cause that's how we've got them listed anyway, because in our experience, you always end up with one who ends up with a stomach bug or something at the last minute and can't compete, so we always have an alternate or 2 in there.
This is the 3rd time we've took gold at state with, or no, it's the 2nd time. But the 3rd time we've competed at nationals with a team. And 2 times we're a man down, and the last time we lost 2. So that's 15 points right off the top. So we're trying to be prepared. Go ahead.
Okay, so anyway, so it's in Atlanta in June the 19th.
Through 23rd, and we'll be traveling back on the 24th.
The award ceremony starts at 5 o'clock on Friday night, so there's like no way we'll try to come back that night. And so what we're asking is for you to look this over. We're asking for permission to go, and we'll need to borrow a short bus and possibly the Tahoe. I'm not sure if we're gonna use that or not. We may just use a, Nurse Sherry's gonna go with us. We may maybe use her vehicle. And we were looking, as he started to say, at getting a bed and breakfast type place, Airbnb, as opposed to a hotel. because our experience with the hotel last year, the one that they want us to be in, because they set up like different states in different hotels. Like Arkansas might be in with Texas and Missouri and Oklahoma and such and such. The cost in here, we've got it at $188. That's only good until like the 15th of May. If I don't have the money to them by then, we don't get it. It goes up to, 200 and some odd. I don't even know.
And at $188 a day, by all the rooms that we need, that's $1,128 per day. So it's a considerable amount of money.
And it's in downtown Atlanta, which I wasn't impressed with. I'll be honest with you. Hey, I like my backwoods, and I wasn't impressed with the zombies. And I like to protect my kids a little bit better than that. So, and most of the time at the nationals that we've been to in the past, like in Kentucky and Kansas, yeah, they provide you transportation from the hotel. They put you on a bus and they drive you down to the convention center and back and forth all day long. They didn't do that at Atlanta.
No, and the guys that stayed in the Arkansas hotel had to walk, so they had to walk that 3 blocks, and there's all kinds of homeless people.
And you got these kids in their dress clothes in Atlanta heat at the end of June. And it's just too much.
Just getting fuel in the bus, I got accosted by 2 or 3. And there was 2 out in the highway. And yeah, just not a good situation, but.
I really wish we was going to a different place, but we still have Atlanta for another couple of years, so.
And if we do the B&B, we can stay the whole week for $3,500 at the tops.
Plus transportation,
Plus transportation.
Yes.
Yeah.
parking, transportation.
Well, at the Airbnb, we won't have to worry about parking, but we will have to pay a parking fee at the convention center. And that's like $50, I think, a day.
Yes.
And we did that last year.
We're paying the whole way, Princess.
Okay, that was my question.
What is it now?
She anticipated my question.
I said, you're paying your whole way.
Oh, yeah,
So
we,
when you say you're asking permission, that's exactly what you're asking.
we're asking for permission to take the kids and permission to use a bus and permission to look into an Airbnb as opposed to a hotel. Because that means we're gonna have male and female all under one roof, but it's set up for that.
It looks like you guys have plenty of supervision, adult
Yes.
supervision as well.
Yes,
And the 2 girls that are going, one is the parent advisor's daughter, and the other one has written permission from her folks to stay with her and her mother. So,
What about a driver?
covered. That's me.
gotta get some use out of him. Yeah, with the short bus, he doesn't have to have the CDL, so he can do that. And like I said, we're gonna take another vehicle, hopefully, either the Tahoe or a private vehicle, so that if we have to like run to the store for something or whatever, we don't have to take a bus.
And we
And-
ran into a problem being able to feed the kids last year because we were a bus in COVID. Nobody wanted to feed us. I mean, the one place that did,
Made us sit
there was a
outside.
chain, we had to sit outside.
Yeah,
And the other place was a mom and pop, and she just welcomed us right in, but nobody else would serve us.
you could, any place you pulled in, like Wendy's or anything, they would not serve us. They said, we do not serve buses.
Okay, you mentioned a Tahoe, is that a school vehicle?
It's the little white.
Traverse.
Traverse,
that is
okay,
a school
Traverse, yeah.
Okay, and then you mentioned a personal vehicle.
We will take one or the other.
Okay, what about liability for our students being in a personal
We
vehicle?
will make sure that we have the Traverse available.
That's,
Okay.
yeah, okay,
Yeah, I was gonna go there next.
Yeah.
okay.
Well, let's say, I was just gonna go with Nurse Sherry's vehicle if there wasn't, the Traverse wasn't available.
She can, the way I understand that, she can drive it, but you can't transfer
Right,
students.
it would be like if she needed to go, to go get food or whatever,
Or someone.
yeah, 2 people, whatever.
But it's
'Cause
great
with
to have
the
that extra vehicle, cause like if somebody gets sick in the middle of the night with appendicitis, you still have a vehicle and
Yes.
transport for everybody else, but you can take that person.
Yeah, yes.
That's a good idea.
Yes, and being how, if we was able to get the Airbnb, or even if we're not, if we're in the hotel, that person can go, or 2 people can go to the store and buy food to bring back I said, we're taking a grill this time and a big cooler, cause hungry kids and hungry adults is not a good thing.
Sounds to me like you've got a good trip planned and as economical as you can.
We were really trying.
Our kids work really hard for the money that we have. I don't know if you know, but we do detailing, we do auto repair, we do stuff for the district.
Anything they can think of, they do.
Yes.
You all do an amazing job, is what you guys do.
Yeah, thank you.
Your whole program.
Do we
We
need a
appreciate
motion
you.
to approve this?
Yes,
will.
So
please.
moved.
I'll make a motion.
You got a second? Alright. All in favor?
Can I throw something in there, because he's not gonna bring it until, he is the skills advisor of the year for Arkansas. And the chapter is the top chapter in the state, so
Awesome.
I wanted to brag on.
Congratulations.
It just seems like I'm doing what I should be doing.
Then you probably are.
There you go.
The other thing that we wanted to mention
Yeah.
was we will be doing the skills university, or no, the
Yeah,
academy.
it's
Chapter of
university.
Excellence, Chapter of Excellence Academy.
Okay, one of the two.
So all of our students will go into that, and I think the state kind of dropped the ball on the sending us on to regionals, or we would have been considered for that. I have no idea about the advisor of the year, if they sent that on or not, but I know they didn't do the chapter.
I don't
So,
think they,
I don't think they
dropped the
did,
ball.
I think they just dropped the ball on it.
They didn't get it in time. But it would have went on to regionals, and that was region 4, and that's like the southern little corner. And then we would have got model of excellence, and then we would have went on to nationals, so, thank you all very much.
Thank you to continue the great work, Frank.
Thank you. If you guys have any questions, call me, email me. Come by and see me.
Next up is middle school yearbook.
Okay, I'm gonna work my way over for just a sec. I'm gonna put these here, and we'll come back to it. I'll introduce myself. I'm Michael Taylor. I work at the middle school. I've been there 17 years. I know. But it's been my privilege for the past 17 years to not only be the art teacher there, but to work with yearbook and to see this program continue to grow and grow and grow. A couple of years ago, for 2 years in a row, we took second internationally out of 17,000 schools for Life Touch publications for middle school yearbooks. Last year, we took first. These guys witnessed those students taking first, and I said, "You're going to do it too?" And guess what?
Good.
They did it. So this is the publication that internationally took first place for middle schools. Middle schools all across the United States and Canada look at this yearbook and they say, this is the benchmark. This is what we want as success. And wow, they did it. They did it. So I'm just going to step aside because this is their book. They're the ones that put it together. So I tell you, I'm so proud of them. I'm so proud of
As
them.
well as you should be.
So there you go. I'm going to let them speak about their experience.
Hello everyone. My name is Brianna Huerta, and today I'm here with McKenna, Emma Grigg, Micaiah Ferguson, who couldn't be here, Rebecca Bateman, Brianna Mano, who also couldn't be here, Michael Taylor, who is sadly not with us anymore, McKinley and Tylee, who is not here in the school anymore. She had moved away. But all of us had made this yearbook together, and which made us get first out of 17 other middle school divisions. It's a big achievement for all of us. Yeah, sorry. The soft skill in our daily life played a really nice, crucial role into making this yearbook, and with their ability to communicate with each other allowed us to express a positive attitude, which made us able to put our feelings and emotions into this yearbook. As whenever you look over this and you turn the pages of our yearbook, you can see the memories and like our happiness of the past, how we make this into our yearbook. You could see the soft skill that we developed and utilized during our time together. As we reflect our time in school, it's clear that we had gained the wealth of knowledge throughout the development of our hard skills. This yearbook that we all made together serves as a testament to our achievements and our growth as students, showcasing that we had worked so hard to produce our yearbook. Now, from my personal view, moving from South Texas to here in the middle of the school year last year was difficult. Like, I made it through. I didn't have any friends, I didn't know anyone, but being in my yearbook class allowed me to speak to new people, meet new people, and make a lot of friends here. And this school is very different from how I learned over there back in Texas, but wouldn't want it for the better. Being here allowed me to try new things that like from beyond my skill, which I'm kind of grateful that it allowed me to show my skill to make this book. And working with these people, they gave me an opportunity to express myself and show my true self. With the strengths that I had in me, I put into the book and show the people what skills I have. I'm sorry.
You are doing great.
In short, the soft and hard skills that all of us have made to put in our yearbook represents our like all of our. I can't describe the words, but it was really hard to put this book together, doing interviews, which was a lot of interviews. And this book also shows our hard work, our dedication, and our perseverance, and which will allow us to continue to guide as we move forward into the future. And also on the behalf of Michael Taylor, who's sadly not here anymore, I would like to congratulate him and his family and all of my classmates for this award, and wish all of them in the future very well.
Like Brianna was saying, we all learned a lot of soft skills during it. Like one of mine was communication, because you had to communicate through everything through the book. There's nothing that you can go without asking someone else what their opinion on it was. And I just want to say that your book has been very special to all of us, I'm pretty sure, because it's all helped us go out, make new friends, just understand the world better, get more connected to the school. That's all I gotta say.
I'll jump in, but hey, we don't want to take too much of your time, but man, what a joy it is to present this to the community. The book was entitled Our Strengths, so I think it speaks well to our strengths here in this small town.
We got big strength. We want to also present you with a copy of this year's book, and I'm going to say it. We're going to be back next year. We're going to be back. Okay. But this is from this year. Thank you so much. Some good memories there.
When do the kids get them?
They are out.
Oh,
They are out. And we still got 30 left in case anybody.
Thank you. I can't believe it's been 7.
Congratulations. Absolutely. Just a big round of applause for these kids.
Thanks, good. Is there anything else?
You did great. Thank you.
Hey, a tough act to follow, but next we have Integrity is here to present to us their information.
I feel like we were not set up for success. That's pretty cool.
Make it good.
So we've got some slides that we're going to run through just to talk through the project itself. Are you going to switch over? Oh, there we go. Perfect. Okay. So my name is John Coleman. I'm with Integrity Energy Partners. I'm out of our Fayetteville office. We've got Hannah Parker here with us as well, who's our engineering coordinator on the project also. So for the last several months, we've been working with a team here at the school district, evaluating facilities and looking for energy efficiency and energy cost savings opportunities. So that's what we're going through tonight. Just real quickly from an agenda standpoint, I'm going to tell you a little bit about our company and how we were selected, go through the project timeline, just to encapsulate all of the work that's been done over the course of the last several months. Talk through the investment grade audit that we did on the facilities, and then talk specifically about the project that we've narrowed down to and what we're recommending for the district. And then we've got Q&A at the end, but obviously as we're going through the slides, I'd like to keep it very conversational, so if you have questions or on a specific slide talking about something specific, just jump in and we'll do our best to address it. So just one slide about Integrity Partners. We've been around since 2007. We're headquartered out of Little Rock and have offices in Fayetteville and then around the Mid-South. Back in 2012, we partnered with Nabolt's Construction to start doing energy projects like this. So what we call turnkey energy projects. Prior to that, we had been doing energy engineering work, consulting work with entities, but we really wanted to start doing turnkey projects where we could do the audit of facilities all the way through implementation of the measures as well. And Nabolt's obviously is one of the top construction organizations in the state. They've been headquartered out of Conway since 1949, so they've got a lot of backing there and a solid foundation as an organization. When we went through, I want to talk about the timeline here, the school district back in September 2022 released a request for qualifications through the Arkansas Energy Office program. So the state of Arkansas has a program where the Energy Office comes alongside public partners like school districts all across the state to look at projects just like this. And basically it's a way for the Energy Office to bring their expertise. You know, they've done dozens and dozens of these projects across the state and working with a school district who might do one in a decade. And so they're bringing that kind of knowledge from looking at projects and partnering with the school district. So we were selected through this RFQ process. We've worked with a lot of school districts of this size around the state. We just finished up a project with Farmington School District in Northwest Arkansas. We're finishing up a project with Boonville School District right now, Hope Public Schools, Batesville, a lot of the mid-sized school districts from around the state, but then we also work with large institutions like University of Arkansas Fayetteville campus. We're doing a retrofit of 6 million square feet across their campus as well. So we've demonstrated an ability to kind of work at different scales, and that's really how we've grown as an organization. So we signed a contract to do the investment grade audit in December. It was a 120-day project development agreement. So we started doing on-site assessments in January and February, and really digging into every minute detail, counting every lamp throughout the district, any water fixtures, toilets, etc., anything that's consuming energy, excluding HVAC and controls, because y'all just did upgrades across the district, so that's been addressed, right? So we were basically looking at everything else throughout that time period. And then over the last 60 days or so, we were going out and getting pricing from different subcontractors and building the pricing for the project, as well as identifying the exact energy savings that is going to come from this throughout on an annual basis. So that's the period that we've been going through. We've been working really closely with Mr. Warren and Matt, Steve prior to his departure, to really kind of narrow in on what this project would look like. So in the very beginning, we really try to look at everything, as I mentioned. So we were looking at LED lighting, which is very common, solar, which has been really common in Arkansas over the last 4 or 5 years. Water heaters was something that was identified as having older equipment in the district and really needed to be replaced. It's not as much of an energy savings opportunity, but really deferred maintenance. We were seeing water heaters 15, 20 years old that needed to be addressed. We wanted to look at water conservation because a lot of times that'll generate quite a bit of savings on an annual basis. For school districts and higher ed, we a lot of times like to fold projects like this into an education side as well. There's 5th and 6th grade curriculum that exists that looks at energy efficiency, and so we try to take your actual project and provide information back to those teachers so they can incorporate it into the classroom. And so we're going to present on that as well. And then window replacements is something that we identified during the audit phase and something that really was needed as well. So I'm going to go through some detail on each one of these as I described. So LED lighting is something that has been ubiquitous really since 2012. We started seeing this in new construction projects, and then retrofits have been very common over the last decade. This is a big part of the UA project that we're doing. It's just retrofitting their entire campus with LEDs. A lot of times the energy savings from LEDs will help fund other upgrades like the water heaters that I described. The water heaters may have a high capital cost, not as much energy savings, but when you bundle the two, the project starts to look really strong. And so that's how we kind of build these projects overall. So we're looking at LEDs throughout the district and retrofitting anything that's not already LED. What this is going to do is you're going to have very consistent lighting in the classrooms, whereas before, as you can see in some of these images, it's very kind of distorted colors. It's also, they last a lot longer and reduce maintenance considerably because we're getting rid of the ballasts entirely, the ballast replacement. The lamps themselves last a lot longer than the fluorescent lamps that are in place. So this is going to really reduce a lot of the workload on maintenance staff as well. Plus, they're just a lot more efficient. We're going from 32-watt lamps down to 12-watt lamps in most cases. So we're looking at almost a 60% savings just by going to these lights. And so that's something that is very common. On the solar side, in Arkansas, we're allowed to do what's called the Solar Services Agreement. And so what we do in this case is we provide all the capital dollars to build the array. So it's not debt on the school district, but you enter into a long-term agreement. So in this case, what we're proposing is a 25-year agreement with Integrity Partners. Same thing we're doing with the City of Huntsville, Huntsville Water, City of Green Forest School District, City of Eureka Springs. We've got 50 some odd projects like this around the state of Arkansas under these financial terms. And really the benefit is that instead of going out and buying 35 years worth of power by paying for the solar all up front, you're able to enter into a longer term agreement, pay less for that energy than what you're paying Carroll Electric currently, and therefore you're generating savings immediately. So this generates significant energy savings as well. In this case, what we're proposing is a 1 megawatt array, which, to give you some context, is about 8.5 acres of solar that we would be developing. So it's at scale. We're talking about, not rooftop solar, but, large array. Currently, you're consuming, based on the last 12 months of history, you're consuming about 2.4 million kilowatt hours a year as a district. We're going to generate just over 2 million kilowatt hours a year. So it's going to be a substantial offset of your total electricity, 87%. We're allowed to go up to 100% by state law, but because of the ebbs and flows in energy use, you may have a mild summer one year where you're not consuming as much electricity. We don't want to generate more than 100% under the rules, because then you start to lose value of those kilowatt hours. So we typically try to land somewhere in the mid 80% offset. So just to give you an idea of the rates that you're paying now, the way we look at it is we take all of your meters, your electric meters in Carroll Electric territory, and you're paying different rates across these meters. The solar will start, as we start generating, we'll start offsetting or replacing the electricity consumption at your highest paid meter or your highest rate meter, and then work our way down the list. But if you look at that collectively, you're paying about 11.3 cents a kilowatt hour for electricity from Carroll Electric. And with solar, you're going to pay about 6.7 cents a kilowatt hour. And that rate is locked in over the term. It will not, it has a 2% annual escalation rate, but that is predictable over the 25-year term. Those will not change from that. And to give you some context, energy costs in Arkansas over the last 15 years have escalated about 2.5% on average. Over the last 2 years, it's been significantly more than that. But over a 15-year term, looking back, it's about 2.5%. So we're escalating below that on our rate, and expect really that energy costs are going to continue to go up significantly. So what we're estimating is about $80,000 in year one savings by going to solar. And then similar to the LED lighting, you can use that savings to help with the rest of the project. So if you think about, again, the water heaters as an example, windows that have a pretty high capital cost, not as much energy savings, some of these other things that you want to be able to do, the solar and LED lighting is really going to help generate the savings to fund those projects. And I'll get to the details of how that all looks as you roll it up, but over the 25-year term, you're going to save about $2.5 million in electricity costs. So we're not talking about insignificant dollars, it's substantial. On the water heater replacement side, we're going in and replacing all of your electric and gas-fired water heaters. We're going like for like as far as the size of those heaters, but the efficiency is going to improve because they're modern compared to the 15 to 20-year-old units. You can see the annual savings is a lot less, but it's something from a deferred maintenance standpoint you really need to do as a district. So we've included that in. On the water conservation side of it, you have a lot of older, high-volume fixtures. So what we're proposing is to go in with low-flow fixtures. This meets the code minimum baseline right now. Okay, so we're not doing anything like no-flow fixtures or anything extreme. We're really going to fixture types that are common in new buildings. In fact, your gymnasium that was just constructed is going to have similar type fixtures as to what we're proposing. We're just simply upgrading what you have currently. And your annual savings is pretty substantial, which is why we always want to look at it. Over $18,000 a year in savings by moving to this. In some cases, it'll be fixture replacement. In some cases where you have really old journals or water closets or toilets, we'll replace those entirely. It really depended on the age and just the structure that was there as to whether we're going to replace it or not. So the audit report, we've got line item by line on exactly what we're doing. It's 200 plus pages long, so it's substantial. You can see all of the detail this, but for the purposes of tonight, I really wanted to kind of summarize in general what we're doing. I know there was some concern about the water conservation side of it, by going to lower flow. And so the subcontractor that we use is Pedal Valves. We've done a lot of projects with them as an organization. Farmington School District is the most recent, where we went in and did similar projects, but they've worked all across the country doing these and really have not had maintenance problems from just the volume of water, the reduction of water, et cetera. And we've got a lot of data that can support that, and happy to kind of get into that detail if there are questions about it, because I know that was a concern Mr. Warren mentioned. We've been working with them since 2016. We've done 16 projects with them. So, you know, a lot of these projects have been in place for 6-7 years, and we're just not seeing any maintenance problems, but are seeing realized savings out of it. So it's something we wanted to identify for the district. On the window and door replacement side, we looked at windows across the district, but as we were working with Mr. Warren and the team, we really narrowed this to Huntsville Middle School, the primary school, Watson Primary School, and then St. Paul Middle School as the options that would fit within kind of the financial parameters that made sense for the district. And then we're also looking at storefront doors at the middle school as well. So these will all come with a 20-year warranty. The biggest thing that we identified was really there's a lot of leaky windows and then windows that weren't functional. Whereas before, maybe they were operable when they were first installed, and now there's no way of opening those. And so what we specified, just really as a cost measure, was to go to one operable window per classroom. So teachers will have the ability to, you know, open that window, get fresh air into the space if they need to. And certainly that's something that's required by the state for educational facilities having one operable window as well, but that was able to reduce the cost. Here on the left, you can see some pictures from some of the facilities that we saw, and this was pretty consistent throughout. But I wanted to show you a couple of examples from an aesthetic upgrade. It's going to be pretty dramatic. So this is Winona and Montgomery in Mississippi, a project that we just completed. On the left was before, on the right is after. This is
Wash the building too?
I'm sorry?
So did you wash the building too?
It kind of looks like it, doesn't it? Maybe you got some good light that day. On Lauderdale County, this is another Mississippi school. You can see before and after. So pretty dramatic. And what we've proposed here is similar look. That we are going to present options to the team, but as far as the budgetary purposes, we wanted to kind of go with this type of look because we think aesthetically it looks pretty solid. And also you can see some of the similarities between your school facilities and what we did there as well. So it's going to be a pretty solid upgrade for the district. And, you know, we do a lot of these projects. We're really proud of all the energy efficiency measures, but the reality is the public doesn't see most of this. You know, water heaters they're never going to see. They may not even notice the LED lighting, but when you do something like this, it's something that's more forward facing to the community. And so it'll be noticeable in that regard and is received pretty well. I mentioned the education piece of this, and we've had a lot of success tying projects back to the school district and just your mission as an organization in teaching students. So what we've proposed here is what we call ARC benchmarking for one of your facilities. And it's really just a way to bring the project to life through data. So on the energy and water side, we have all of our baseline data. We would plug that in and work with the school district team to plug that in for a facility, establishing what the baseline is versus what happens after we do the project. So you can see the dramatic decrease in that facility, and the kids can kind of play with that information and understand how it impacts, how a project like this impacts a facility. We also have a waste audit included in this where our team would come on site and work with 5th or 6th graders to look at trash stream. And, you know, it's something that the kids absolutely love, kind of getting their hands on, you know, what is the waste that's going into the landfill? picking that apart, seeing what could be recycled and what's not, and really understanding what's contributing to that waste stream. And that's something that fits really well with curriculum. And then we also do indoor air quality testing. So we'll set up monitors in the classroom, and they can see how their classroom is performing, but then you can bring like an aerosol and spray across it and see, how it affects the indoor air quality, and just kind of teaching through that as well. So we try to do that through the ARC program. We also, some years ago, one of our solar specialists designed we call a solar suitcase. And it's like a gun case, but you put a couple of small solar modules in it, a water pump, some LED lighting, and it's low voltage. And so the kids can get hands-on and like put the solar array together, plug in the water pump, plug in LED lighting, put it outside obviously, and see how it affects how the energy flows, and utilize those systems. And then they can stand over the array, cast a shadow, see how it drops down. It's really interactive and a nice way for them to kind of get their hands on the project and really better understand how the solar works. So that's something that can be rotated around classrooms and whatnot, and again, really fits in with the curriculum that is stated in the state curriculum as well. So I've talked through a lot there. I'm going to pause for just a second before we jump into the project financials, just to see if we have any immediate questions.
Where's the 8.5 acres?
Good question. So we actually bought some property. I mentioned that we were working with the city of Huntsville and Huntsville Water on a similar project. We bought property near Gravett to do the project. And I'll give you a little backstory on this. When we first started working with the city, we looked at the industrial park here in town. At the time, there was a discussion going on with a manufacturing entity that was going to move into that space. And so they carved out about half of the park for us to look at. And through our analysis, we weren't going to be able to fit the solar array there for the city and water facility. So then we went up to Berryville's industrial park, where we built the city of Eureka Springs and city of Green Forest arrays up there. I don't know, has anybody seen that project? It's actually one of our prettiest sites because it's a beautiful site because the hills in the distance and all that. But anyway, we went up there and worked with them to identify additional property next to the array, but we kept running into bedrock when we were doing our geotech there. So from there, we had to punt on those opportunities and start looking for property. The rules in Arkansas are, and it sounds kind of odd that we'd be over to grab it, but we can build the array anywhere in Carroll Electric's territory, since those are the meters that we're offsetting. And so we started looking around. We have to look for three-phase power. We look for proximity to substation, because we're going to be generating a decent amount of energy, and we need to have the infrastructure to put it back on the grid. And then obviously the land has to be for sale as well. So we did a lot of evaluation and finally landed on this property near Gravett. So at the time, we knew there was potential to add other projects in Carroll Electric. We didn't know it was going to be the school district at that point, but not long after that, the RFQ came available. We got selected. So right now we're planning to build all three of them over there.
So if it's in Carroll Electric, that means St. Paul campus would not be part of this?
That's correct. So I didn't mention this, but during the audit phase, we actually looked at potential for doing an array to offset St. Paul as well. It's Ozarks electric territory, but the array size was so small because of just the little amount of energy that they use at the campus that it just didn't make financial sense to build one there. Versus this, is a sizable opportunity. But good questions.
I think my other questions you're probably gonna answer, so if you're gonna get into
The financial side? Okay, yeah. Any other questions on what I've talked about so far?
On the LED lighting, are you replacing the whole fixtures, or are you retroing the fixtures?
We're doing lamp replacement of the fixtures unless the lenses are not reusable, and then we'll do lamp with lens replacement.
What about some of the strip top lights that you had in your slides?
Yes, it's gonna be lamp replacement.
Okay, so like aesthetically, it's really not gonna change a whole lot then?
I think what you're gonna see is like here, the color rendering is gonna be much brighter, it's gonna be much more closer to daylight. So the aesthetic from that standpoint is gonna be really good. From a fixture standpoint, you're right, like the aesthetic of the fixture is gonna remain the same. We have done, like Fayetteville Public Schools is a project that we did last year, and they wanted us to do flat panels in the classrooms and public areas and lamps in the back of the house where they wouldn't be seen. We could do something like that, but from a cost, it's more expensive to get the aesthetic upgrade. And so through our conversations, we decided to do lamp replacements specifically. But the flat panel option is something that we could certainly do if that's desired.
So when you say lamp replacement, the fixture over your head, are you just gonna clip the wires on the ballast and wire straight through and?
Yes.
Okay, are you gonna remove the ballast or leave it there?
Recycle.
We recycle the ballast, okay.
Okay.
Yep, I wasn't sure what we proposed here, so we'll pull those out.
I will say the custodians would be way happy because they have to put new bulbs in, and you have to think about this. You're having class, so they can't come in your class when you're having class, so they have to arrange with each teacher when they can come in and put in new bulbs.
Yeah.
And then they have to do new ballast as well sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't underscore the satisfaction that the maintenance team has with the LED retrofit, because it is a big part of their day, just, especially a district this size with as many lamps as you have, all different ages, ballasts going out. So the LED lamps have an internal driver, so you get away from the lamp completely. It's a 5-year warranty on the lamp, so we'll be your point of contact on the warranty side of it and all of that. So it's a really good setup, and we've done millions and millions of square feet. I mean, the same products that we're using in the lamp retrofit, we're doing a lot of that at the U of A as well. Mississippi State University, Tulsa Public Schools, like I can go down the list of different entities, large and small, that we've done projects like this.
We had a picture on the lighting slide of Berry Gymnasium, and the maintenance team had recently done full LED lighting in there, and it looks excellent. It looks really good in there, so it'd be similar look at all the gyms, all the classrooms.
I mean, I've been an electrician for 17 years, so I've done it all, but just from aesthetic light, I mean, mostly the strip lights that you have on your slides, I mean, we're just gonna leave those tied to the T-bar.
So we'll go to LED, but the lens piece of it is what's gonna stay the same. Unless there's a direction to go to the flat panels, like what I described with Fayetteville. All right, let's get into the financials here. So there are two different mechanisms on the finance side. The Arkansas Energy Office has a new loan program that is really tremendous. The debt service rate, or the interest rate on the loan, is 0.4%, it's 0.4%, which is, you're not gonna find that anywhere close to that anywhere. But it's all part of this Arkansas Energy Office program for public entities. So the total project cost is $1.88 million. The annual utility savings from the measures that are gonna be funded through this, so that's the LED lighting, water heaters, water conservation, et cetera, is just over $62,000. The maintenance savings, and so this is something we talked a lot about with the staff. This is not labor hours in any way. It's all about the lamps that were being replaced, ballasts, any other maintenance that was being done, like an actual cost in the budget. And so we worked with the staff to identify that number. So it's $11,800 on an annual basis, rolling up to a total annual savings of $74,500. So these are the items that are funded through the Energy Office program. The other financial mechanism, as I described, was the solar service agreement. And so no upfront cost, that's where we go in and do all the capital investment, and then you pay us for that solar energy over a long-term agreement. That's gonna generate an additional $80,000 a year in energy savings. So the financial term on that is a 25-year term. It is a long-term agreement. Now, the thing that this does, you may have heard about the IRA funding, some of the federal funding that's available there through tax credits for solar. So what's allowed in the solar service agreement is for us to go get those tax credits on behalf of public entities and then draw down the cost of the array.
So that will offset the cost though?
Yes, it
Same
helps.
way with the lighting and, because I know there's lighting rebates and stuff through power companies also.
So it's different in that way. These are tax credits,
Okay.
whereas the lighting rebates through power companies are often like direct payments to the district. Carroll Electric does not have lighting rebates, and so we're not able to access any of those on behalf of the school district. Any of that, we're always looking for ways to maximize any incentives that are available. In this case, the incentives that are available to the district are through the federal funding, the IRA funding. But we're able to go access that on behalf of the district and help draw down the cost of the project. After year 7, because of the kind of the mechanism associated with the tax credit, after year 7, if the district wanted to buy the array at a reduced amount, that's going to be an option into the future, so in any year after. It would probably be a little unconventional to do that, but I just wanted to kind of describe that that is an option for future school boards or administrators if there's a desire to do that over time.
What happens if you have a tornado hit your 8.5 acres?
That's a good question. So actually, we did a project a couple of years ago for the city of Alma wastewater treatment plant. And a few weeks ago, a hailstorm came through and took out a bunch of our solar modules. My daughter was at a dance competition in Fort Smith that also totaled my wife's car at the same time. But we have insurance. We do all the operations and maintenance on the solar modules. So for us, the only way we get paid is by generating energy from the solar arrays.
When it's down,
Yes, so you're right. So when it's down, you would revert back to what you would have paid from Carroll Electric, the energy costs associated with
so
that.
after 7 years, you're wanting to get rid of this thing because things are getting obsolete.
No,
So if it happens, say 10 years, is there incentive for you to build it back?
yes, because our agreement is with the district over 25 years. And the only way we recoup our money is over that 25-year term, unless the school district decides. We're not gonna come back and make a hard sell to purchase it. I was just mentioning that because I wanted to show that there's flexibility for other administrations, future administrations. But no,
you're
our,
in it for money, so
sure,
if you can't make any money because it's been destroyed and it's obsolete, are you gonna build it back? That's my question. You can't get something for nothing.
no, you're absolutely
I'm not the
right.
sharpest knife in the drawer, but I know you can't get something for nothing.
Right.
You have to make a profit or you don't do it.
Yes. So we will charge you, we're gonna charge you for the solar that we're generating as part of this contract, and our profit is built into that. But it's $80,000 less a year than what you're paying to Carroll Electric. So that's where the savings comes in. You're paying more than that on an annual basis for electricity, but we're gonna charge you less than what you're currently paying for energy. But we have profit in that as well. That's what makes this a win-win. We obviously are a for-profit company and get paid, but we're in a 25-year contract and we have to generate energy over time. So there's the worst thing that could happen, I mentioned Navelt at the outset, just to mention the longevity of our company and whatnot in Arkansas. But say 15 years down the road, we disappear. The worst thing that would happen is that you pay for electricity like you would have been paying to Carroll Electric anyway, right? Does that make sense?
But we have a 25-year, 15, back 2 slides where it says,
It's a 25-year term, but the only way we can bill you is if we're generating electricity. If the solar stops generating, you're not paying us unless we're,
so there's no upfront cost on that.
that's right.
Okay.
And you're only paying for the electricity we generate from solar. So the risk is on us to build the array and keep it up and running. And that's where we take that on as part of the project. So, and we have, as I mentioned, 55 projects like this around the state. This is all legislation that was implemented in Arkansas in 2019 allowed us to do agreements like this. And locate them in locations like within the utility territory like I described. The other piece of that is we're able to aggregate meters, so we're looking at, all of your electric meters, and instead of having to go build rooftop solar at the high school and at the middle school to offset that meter, we can look at all the meters together and build one array to offset it. But again, the only way we can bill for the energy we're generating is if we're generating energy. The agreement, the contract is that if we generate that energy, then you're going to pay us for it, right? So that's the agreement, but we have to generate it first.
So the arrays are not ours, they're not our responsibility to fix, they're not our responsibility to ensure
That's
that we're
right,
paying you like an electric company.
that's right,
Basically.
that's right.
Yeah, that's
Now-
the way I see it too.
Yeah, you won't, it doesn't eliminate your Carroll Electric bill entirely, right? You're still gonna have demand charges from Carroll Electric, you'll have some meter fees and other things, but it's gonna be reduced by $80,000 a year.
Okay, Carroll Electric pays taxes on every transformer that's serving us. They're paying for all of these power lines that come in,
Right,
and they have a sizable investment there. And if we quit buying electricity from them, what's their response going to be for those transformers that they're maintaining, the power lines they're maintaining? Somebody's gotta pay for that.
right.
Again, we can't get something for nothing.
You're still paying for energy, and then your demand charges and your meter fees are still paying to Carroll Electric. So they're getting fee from you, it's just not as much as what they were before. So
Right.
that,
But their infrastructure was installed in anticipation of us utilizing that. And somebody's gonna lose here.
Yeah, so
it is the utility that loses revenue, you're correct in that.
Yeah.
And so the question is whether you wanna go this route to save the money that the potential is for you, or continue paying to Carroll Electric.
So if Carroll Electric loses revenue, that means us as a school district, since they're paying taxes on that in our county, does that not mean that we lose revenue also?
They pay property tax on each transformer.
Okay.
And if they're not fully utilizing that transformer, they're losing money. Now, are they gonna leave it there or put a smaller one in?
They're not, you continue
Yeah.
to use electricity in the same way, they'll continue paying property taxes in the same way.
But if they start losing money, they're gonna have to charge more. So, they gotta make a profit.
They're governed under the Public Service Commission. And
But my point is, if we take money from them, our patrons of our school district will experience higher electric bills by the savings that the school is making, taken away from Carroll Electric.
that's actually not true.
I appreciate you speaking up and contradicting me. Go ahead and explain, I'm
Sure,
curious.
so their rates are set by the Public Service Commission. They have a revenue that they're afforded, but their costs are covered under the rate structure that is set by the Public Service Commission. So we're not going to affect any of the infrastructure that they're maintaining. They are doing fine as an entity, I promise, from a revenue standpoint. And they're not gonna come in and cut services to a school district because you just decide to do solar. From a cost standpoint, when you start looking at cost shifting, which is what you're describing overall, so they buy power, in some cases they generate some power, but they buy power on wholesale contracts. And sometimes they're paying more for wholesale power during peak times, which happens to coincide with solar energy that is being developed. So in a lot of cases, these projects are actually helping reduce costs to the electric utility. Now, they will argue the cost shift side, and in fact, the legislation changed dramatically in the last legislative session to limit projects like this as of September 2024. But the Public Service Commission was evaluating that cost shift at the same time, and they were ruling that cost shift was not occurring. So yes, it's true they're losing revenue. It's true they don't like projects like this because it is competition. But from them being whole as an organization and their ability to maintain infrastructure, provide electric power to entities like the school district, you are not in danger of not being able to draw energy from the grid. So, and their rate structures are set by the Public Service Commission, so they can't go in and change someone down the street just because y'all decide to do this.
I'm not talking about case by case, I'm talking about overall. If their overall revenue drops, the Public Service Commission is gonna have to allow them to raise their rates to operate.
That's right, but what's been ruled at this point, they have not taken a rate case before the Public Service Commission in years. And what's been ruled at this point is that that cost shift is not occurring and that it doesn't warrant a rate increase. I mean, I understand kind of where you're coming from a logic standpoint, but it hasn't been borne out in front of the Public Service Commission.
It's important to note, you'll still get a utility bill from Carroll Electric, and it will have all the same meter and customer charges that fund things like their infrastructure. It's the electricity that they purchase or generate that you'll be buying less of. So you'll still get a bill that reads exactly how much you received from them, and it'll subtract what the solar generated. And if it's in excess, it'll apply to the next month. So you're still paying Carroll to provide you service. You're just purchasing less that they generated to provide to you. And as John alluded, demand or peak usage is much more expensive to a utility than typical, the lights running right now, which is why a lot of utilities have rebates for solar. Because if you reduce your peak load, they save money because they don't have to build as big of a power plant to generate that high peak. And solar operates typically when it is peak. You know, it's operating when you're running the air conditioning at the hardest in the middle of the day. So it does tend to balance out the loss in revenue to Carroll Electric, but your transformers here in town are gonna be, you know, flowing with the same amount of electricity. It's not necessarily coming off of the grid here. You're still seeing the same amount, it's just reduced from their overall grid elsewhere. And we do pay them a substantial cost, and the cost to build that array is fees to them to upgrade the transformers in the area.
Back up and say that again, please.
Yeah, so in building the array, we do pay for upgrades to the transformers near the array so that Carroll Electric does not see any negative effects. So, you know, they're involved in this process. We consult with them about interconnection costs and, you know, how all that works. They're aware, and we've discussed this.
Thank you for answering my question.
Sure, no, it's a good
Great
question. Any other questions on the solar side? So when you roll all this up together, so both the energy efficiency and solar, what we wanted to demonstrate is just kind of annual cash flow. So in year zero, that's the construction period. First thing we're gonna do is go in and do the LED retrofits while we're waiting on water heaters or windows or other equipment to come in. So as we do the LED retrofit, you're gonna start generating some energy savings in year zero. As the other equipment comes in, we'll implement it, and then the project obviously will be finished. Once the solar is generated, we'll start the year one savings. So from the energy efficiency side, you've got the almost $63,000 a year in utility savings off of your bill, the estimated $11,800 in maintenance savings that we prescribed, and then the savings from the solar, which is close to $80,000. So when you roll all that up together, you're looking at over $154,000 a year in year one savings. Your debt service on the Arkansas Energy Office loan, the 0.4%, is just under $130,000 a year. So you'll immediately cash flow positive $24,700 a year on the project. So that allows you to be cash flow positive, but also get the window upgrades, the water heaters, the LED lighting, et cetera, improvements to the district.
I hate to keep asking questions.
These are good. This is a good conversation.
Okay, can we just pick the low hanging fruit? Like the things that have the greatest return and leave off the water heaters or leave off the windows?
Absolutely. I mean, really, the whole kind of conversation that we've been having is that back and forth. You know, originally we had roofs that we budgeted for, we had windows throughout the district, and we really narrowed down to the window replacement, water heaters, et cetera, to have longer return, but are supplemented by these other pieces. But yes, I mean, we can structure it whatever the district decides that is a priority.
One nice
windows are a
benefit to
priority.
Yeah, the
Windows are
definitely a priority.
Okay,
One nice benefit too of wrapping this all into one project is that we provide commissioning services, installation verification. Basically, it's as hands-off for the district as possible. So we have, in-house project management, we deal with the subcontractors. When we install that new water heater, it will be tested and commissioned and documented. You'll get a book with all the warranties, it's very hands-off. So with the windows, for example, our team will test the windows and make sure that there's no water or air intrusion issues that were not there previously. We'll test those, we'll commission those, we provide verification, warranties. Whereas, if we just do that low-hanging fruit and then you wanna come back and do the windows later, it's really hard to come up with that capital. Because basically then the savings are just gonna roll into your typical budgets rather than specifically setting them aside for that cost. And, if you go use a different contractor without that commissioning service, you don't have that quality of installation, that verification, that project management.
I mean, the 0.4% interest too
Yes.
is money that,
okay, I have a question with me about windows. You seem very adamant that windows.
Yes.
We all do.
Are windows a safety issue?
Yes, they are.
Okay, then why can't we spend safety-related money on windows?
if
I
you,
mean, you could, but then at a much higher interest
We'll talk
rate.
about that, the next issue
Yeah.
coming up.
one option that we haven't really talked about, I mean, if you have capital dollars that are allocated towards something else that you wanted to put towards the project, you could. Our contention is just because of the AEO loan fund, the interest rate is so incredibly low
Okay, I
that
understand.
it's worth,
Well, our capital dollar would probably draw more interest in the bank than it is what the interest would be on that loan anyway.
that's true.
So,
So a lot of times too, these projects will show some sort of annual cash influx from the district, we're not showing any. So that's called capital avoidance dollars, that's at a zero, cause we apply the solar savings towards the project, so the district is not putting any upfront buy down off of the project, nor are you applying any annual, you're basically just shifting the savings dollars into what you owe to the AEO's loan. So, and then you have that additional cash flow.
a while ago you said that we'd get, commissioning, we'd get warranty,
Yeah, and as well as
But-
measurement and verification.
whenever you say warranty paperwork, you guys handle all warranty, correct?
So the warranty, yeah, all the warranty stuff.
For everything,
Yes,
whether
You'll get a binder.
windows, LED lights, all of it.
you would reach out to
So-
us,
I guess our maintenance department would have a contact person inside your organization
that's right,
that they would go to for everything.
that's right.
You mentioned on the lighting as well, the lights will actually say integrity on them, they're
The lamps would,
brand and purchase and wholesale.
whenever you did the lights, did you do parking lot lights also?
Do we include parking lot? I don't think we did. In the audit.
If we did, it's a small number of the parking lot, the floodlights, but I know we didn't do any of the stadium or field lights,
Yeah.
that's a separate
I mean,
one.
those are big energy drawers, so
I'll have to
I'll
look.
check
I
and
don't know why
confirm.
that wouldn't have been added.
Yeah, we can look at that on the audit side and confirm it.
Well, we've got outside lights that are burning all the time right now, just so you know.
Or high school
Well, if we
parking
have some
lots.
that don't
Yeah,
work,
yeah.
then it should be in the.
I mean, I know the primary building, we've got some going, and then
We were intermediate
they're
earlier.
burning all the time. There's a photo cell or a time clock or something.
Oh, okay. Burning it. That whole thing is on one pole, so it's entirely.
That has nothing to do with you, it's just
No,
while we were on the subject, sorry.
Sure. No, anything that's not owned by Carroll Electric, sometimes those lights, those exterior lights will be owned by the utility. anything that's not, we should have included, but I don't know, the parking lot lights.
I don't think those would be, they're just old style shoebox type lights, I
Okay.
wouldn't think that they would be.
Okay.
I mean, if they're mounted on one of their poles, I could see that, but
Yeah.
I'm talking about parking lot lights.
Okay.
They're already.
On those water heaters you was talking about,
That's
I
how the question.
I recently replaced one in my old house at home, but it's one of them 20-year-old ones.
Yeah.
And it made a big difference on my electric bill, guys.
Yep.
Yeah. You just dropped off that and went straight to your lighting, but I'm telling you, it made a big difference in my small family home on my electric, so.
Mr. Warren,
Yes, sir.
I'm sure these are fine people. I've never been seen them before in my life. I've never heard of their company. I don't trust them, don't know anything about them. Have you checked with some of the other school districts that they have made these same claims to, and are they coming true?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. Now I trust you.
You've also had talks with the mayor and others, correct?
Yes,
With the projects that are.
That are currently being done here in town.
So they're the real deal. You can
Yes,
verify.
actually, Mr. Trahan, former mayor, was on the committee that helped select this group.
Okay.
That's it.
That's it.
So I know it was presented as an information item. Obviously, we're ready to get going. So whenever, we can push it to the next month and come back and present. We don't really anticipate the project changing unless y'all have recommendations like on the flat panels or, something like that you want to change about the project.
Me personally, I'm just trying to figure out how it's more cost efficient to bust one of these lights down and change out all the guts in them as opposed to put a new flat panel in.
Yeah.
Hey, I've just done a bunch of those, and it is so simple.
Oh, believe me, I know, I've done thousands of them,
Yeah,
but I've also sold flat panels for a distributor too.
yeah, see, I
So,
don't like to buy.
they're cheap,
Yeah.
they're cheap, so.
The lamp price is really inexpensive to do. The flat panels are inexpensive as well. It's just
I know we were doing 204 flat panels for $45 a piece.
Yeah.
I mean, it takes some 15 minutes to change them out, as opposed to breaking all that down, cutting wires, having to rewire the tombstones in them.
If it takes them 15 minutes, they're not worth their salt. But it'd take me 2 minutes to change one of those out. When I was doing it all the time.
The actual retro?
Tearing ballast, replacing tombstones, replacing reflectors,
It's just
2 minutes.
we can do it at a lower cost, but we also have really good pricing on the flat panels too. And that's why, at Fayetteville, and other districts have decided to do that. But from when we were looking at your lenses and just kind of the way everything's set up, we felt like the lamp would work really well and it would be less expensive. So, but we're certainly willing to do that.
I mean, it may be, I'm just,
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest with you, these are probably the best looking lights we've got in the district. So,
Yeah, I
I'm
understand.
thinking about it aesthetically too.
Right. Any other thoughts, questions, insults?
right in, Hey, at least we can do it with that.
I felt like I turned the heat up in here too. It was really cool before.
We're talking about a 25-year commitment.
You're right.
And I wanna know what we're getting into here.
You're right. No, those are good questions. It's something you definitely need to take seriously. There are a lot of other entities that have done this around the state. We happen to be really good at it. We've done a lot of them. But we're really confident in what we're putting in front of you today, so.
You both had questions about the water flow at the primary and replacing that stuff. That clear up?
Yeah,
your
I've been a
thoughts on
plumber for 20 years.
Mhm.
My only concern is the the shape of the underground piping, when you put those the low flow toilets in, obviously there's less water flowing, and if you've got rough cast iron pipe, say, it sometimes, not saying it would, but it sometimes causes, you'll start having backups, you know.
Right.
Which, like you said, on new projects, it really doesn't matter, because most of that's PVC and smooth and good, and it really doesn't matter, but.
Yeah.
That would just be my only concern with from the toilet perspective. Now, as far as sinks, not a big deal.
Do we have enough grade differential, to have enough slope on these pipes to?
I'll tell you what the best thing to do would be, honestly, if we're gonna consider that, is yes, to have a plumbing company come, look at the drains and say, yeah, it'll be fine, they're in good shape. And we may find something in doing that needs fixed anyway. So, I mean, that's a good thing to do probably. With the age of the buildings that we have, it's just something that might need to be looked at being done. And I mean, I'm all for saving the water, for sure. I just don't want to cause maintenance costs, because of that. And, I mean, a lot of the toilets we have are probably still 3-gallon flush toilets, I'm assuming, which is
significant.
Yeah, that's double what one flushes now, so.
Water honestly is not that expensive in our region, and yet you can see the savings that is gonna be generated.
Sure.
So
Sure.
it's a lot of volume.
Yeah, and I mean, the faucets and stuff, I'd be definitely all for that.
Yeah.
Can we wait a month to do anything?
We don't have to switch till next month.
No,
correct?
we put it in there as information only. You can ask questions of me and I'll give them a delay and things like that.
And then timeframe, if we say, June board meeting, we're ready to go.
Yeah.
What's timeframe for the project to happen?
So the LED piece, we would jump on within the first month or so. We've got the product available. We are finishing up retrofit at the U of A right now, and we'll be through the first month of June. We could start to move people over in July, August, and jump on it. The water heaters and the windows, there's going to be procurement time on those things. And we don't keep those items in stock because they're more specialty. So we would order those as soon as we got the signed contract, and then we would determine from there. The windows are going to be a ways out. Those have been just tough from a supply chain standpoint. The solar piece, we've gone through preliminary interconnection study with Carroll Electric, so they know what we're proposing, so there won't be any surprises there. We have to do what's called a net metering facility study after we finish the design 100%, which we would do once we get the signed contract. It would probably be a year and a half or so to construct that as a whole. I mean, we're building a small power plant, interconnecting with the grid, and all of that, so.
When we talk about windows and fixtures, are you talking about evening, weekend, holiday work?
Yes. It wouldn't be holidays probably, we wouldn't do that, but in the evenings, we'll come in, do the LED retrofit after hours. We'll finish up classrooms as a whole, so a teacher won't come in and have 50% of their lights, one way or the other. So we're very used to working after hours on all those things. The windows, we would coordinate with the school district on the best time to do that. Wouldn't want to do that at night, but over a summer break or winter break or spring break or something like that, where we can have access.
Our requirements for our subcontractors do state that if any work does happen that conflicts in any way with school, there's safety barricading and all of that that's required, or needs to be scheduled when there's no students in the building. And to your question about procurement, our subcontractor is quoted at 14 to 16 weeks to acquire the windows, and then around about 4 months for the installation. And that's for all 3 buildings, so they do 1 building at a time. They finish up at the primary before moving to the middle.
And that's going to be dependent on the school schedule and just coordination there.
And then do we have a cost breakdown for each, basically segment that we're talking about, solar, light, plumbing?
Yeah, so.
And have we seen that? I don't know if
we did present it to Mr. Warren.
We haven't seen it.
You haven't? No, I have not.
So one of the good things about the Arkansas Energy Office program, remember we put some additional slides in here. Here we go. So Arkansas Energy Office program requires us to fill out a schedule basically, of the breakdown of the different measures, as well as overhead, profit, all of our costs associated with it. And so we can provide that full sheet, but this, you can see the tally. Education program, a little over $13,000, LED lighting, $340,000, water conservation, water heater. The window and door upgrades obviously are the big line item there. But there are architectural windows, full replacement, meeting the state architectural standards as well, and safety requirements for the classroom, so.
Can we have a copy of your presentation?
This is, yes.
That's what I was fixing to ask.
Yeah, actually, we can share the presentation electronically, and Mr. Warren can pass it on as well.
I'd like to see that.
And then I'm jumping ahead in our agenda, to say the property, we're gonna upgrade some doors with gas. Are these doors separate from that?
They're not.
Those are interior doors.
Okay.
Yeah, our door.
This actually only just includes the cafeteria main entrance and the library main entrance of the middle school. Those will be upgraded to match, but the primary school doors are already in good shape, they're fairly, new for the style, and then the middle school in St. Paul doesn't have any glass doors.
So we can share the presentation and then the IGA, the investment grade audit report that just has anything you would want. Every fixture counted, every plumbing fixture, all of the water heaters, et cetera. So it's a full count.
If you read all 278 pages, I'll buy you dinner.
Where we eating?
He probably.
You will. That's not the
All right, good questions. We'll share that information with Mr. Warren. He can send
One
out
more
this-
question. Sustainability Education Program, $13,398. We have principals here in the room. Would you even use that?
Oh, yeah, especially out there.
Okay, I see one head going, I see one apprehensive, like probably not.
Probably not at my level.
It'd probably be intermediate and above, I would think.
A lot of times,
I can see the statistics class getting all crazy with this too.
Is it worth $13,398 to you?
Well, I mean, if we're using it for children's education out of the CTE levy to promote them into this type of work, yes, I would say, because.
But I think you said it's for like 5th and 6th graders, isn't that kind of what your target?
so on the data side, on the building metrics, we can engage older kids. We have to look at utility data and how it's affected. Makes more sense there. The 5th and 6th grade is the solar suitcase with the small modules, the pumps, the LED lighting, and then the waste audit. Typically, the younger kids get into that, where the older kids aren't as thrilled about digging through the trash. So,
Solar suitcase is great too, because it folds up and slides into a closet, and like John said, you can pass it around, and every classroom could have it a different week throughout the year.
again, this scope can be changed, but oftentimes what we are getting is positive feedback from education entities trying to figure out a way to incorporate the project into curriculum and do something like that. So that's really the effort behind this.
The waste audit could be really cool to incorporate in high school as well, because they do have a recycling, compost, and student-led program at the high school. It'd be really cool to integrate that somehow.
And we would need all of the composting. Definitely.
Thank you very much.
Yep, thank you. Thanks for your questions. Appreciate it.
Hey, you did a good job.
Hey, I appreciate it.
That's a great question.
Next is section 4, which is superintendent reports. We have the financial projection report. You can see from our actuals in April that the revenue did kick up quite a bit this past month. We got a lot of tax revenue back in from Madison County. So we expect another fairly big one next month as well, or we feel like there will be one. The trend continues as it has in the past. And our tab B is our enrollment report. We did go down again in enrollment from last month. Kind of across the board, we lost some students here or there.
Any reasons why they're leaving, just families moving, or?
Nothing that I can peg for you as far as any reason. You do see this kind of happening. I mean, it does happen at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Everyone, maybe not to this extent that we've seen this time around. At least as far as comparing it to last year, and that's all as far back as I can go right now. But,
The last couple of months have been.
they've declined quite a bit. But our 3-quarter average was still high, and that's what we'll base our funding off of next year. And we started off lower at the beginning of the year this year, and we skyrocketed up right after basically October. So I see that trend happening again next year.
Well, it looks like y'all's down 8 in Huntsville. St. Paul's down 4. That's a
What do
big
you mean, y'all, Bobby? It's all we, buddy.
I agree. You know, I'm trying to get by to you guys.
Some of those, when we graduate a kid out of the ALE program, we mark it as graduated, so that could be some of that at that level.
Okay, if there aren't any other questions, moving on to the administration report. Sorry, administration reports. We'll start with Matt.
I don't have a whole lot, but I did want to bring up or mention that the state has approved new math, English, and social studies standards, and so we're kind of going through that. And I've been meeting with instructional facilitators and talking through that, and then they're going back and meeting with their teams. And I know Sarah Molnick's had a meeting with her team today discussing that and how that's going to line up with our curriculum that we purchased last year. And so a lot of the work this summer is with those teachers when they're coming in on their days is working through that, mapping that out and trying to pinpoint, this standard matches with this lesson and making sure that we're ready for all of that. So, but that's big focus for us right now. So.
We are just staying busy as ever as the year winds down. We have a lot of events coming up in the activity center. We probably got 4 events just this week and a couple that we're having to help and get ready for. Working on end of the year checklist for technology, and we send out a technology needs assessment at the end of every year. The survey asking teachers how comfortable they feel with technology, what did they feel like we could help with, and bridge that gap, and a wish list essentially. So if we had something we could help them with, what can we do that? And then we're just kind of finalizing our summer projects. We got a lot of new stuff to install, some access control and safety stuff, and just our general. Summer is really our biggest downtime that we get for doing our maintenance and stuff on all of our technology devices. So we're just trying to finalize that because every year it seems like we'll have plenty of time, and then we get to the end of the summer and we have no idea where it went. So
We're just the same deal. We're just waiting, school to end and get ready for trying to plan out our summer for waxing and that kind of thing. I'm really going to try to do a lot of recreational horse no buildings and sidewalks this summer. Maybe get a couple kids to help out, but basically like Bailey, just trying to wind down and get a good plan moving forward.
Is St. Paul's Library restroom, is that on the agenda for the summer? Is it?
Yes.
there's more than just the library that needs addressed over there. The grounds are in terrible shape next to the FFA building out front. There's old rotten lumber there with big nails sticking up. I pointed it out a week ago, they're still there. Down by the old school bus garage, there's old telephone poles. It's been laying there for years. No one can tell me no different in that town every day, several times. And it's rotted stuff, guys. It needs to go. Especially the 16-penny rusty nails. I turned a lot over, but there's still a lot. And that's up above the high school, I agree. That it ain't little kids running, but I was a senior in that same school myself. Come dinner time, no one told me to not run. I mean, they might have. I said, man, we chased, we did this and that. The nails need picked up. There's nowhere to go with that old rotten lumber. It's no good. Give me permission, I'll come up and haul it off. But it needs gone.
We'll take care of that.
There is rusty nails there. I've got pictures on the phone. I can show you one here tonight. It needs gone.
Safety issue.
For sure. Well, there ain't no mother or father wants to go to that school because they had to pull a big nail out of their kid's foot. If you ever had one in your foot, you'll remember.
And we're done.
I forgot one thing, if anybody's noticed the red dirt pad over here behind the cafeteria.
Yeah, I saw that today. I was gonna ask you about that.
I finally had something good to
Yeah,
say.
and I'm gonna show her thunder, we're getting ready to expand that playground a little bit and, put in a wheelchair. What she said, swing.
Swing.
So,
And there'll be one on the primary, actually two going in that primary as well.
Finally, after 2 years, we've got approval, the equipment's here, it's going.
Awesome.
I saw that pad today when we were over there for Randy's bench dedication. I was wondering what that was for, so that's awesome.
We're just the same old, we're, a lot of field trips, got to keep Mission Park hopping the last few weeks here. Gearing up for summer school, we're gonna have a couple of buses running at St. Paul over the summer, over June, a couple up here. Still kind of getting that set up.
Did you get on drivers?
What's that, I'm sorry?
You got plenty of drivers?
We're gonna be in better shape next year right now, if we don't lose too many. We got a couple that are getting their license right now, when we're ready for August, so. It's looking way better than what this year was.
Did you get your buses from, I know 2 or 3 months ago, you were going to look at some, or
Yes, we got
Bentonville or Rogers or somewhere?
Yeah. One of them died on us out here on the, ground unfortunately that we gotta go on again.
Well, I've got a big list, so I'm not gonna apologize too much, but, Lily Samuels, she won the Congressional Art Contest Viewer's Choice and the Patriot Award, and that was selected by Congressman Womack. He came to the high school here a while back, and Candace Giffen said he talked about us a lot down there in his speech about how nice we were and how proud he was of the high school. So that made me feel great. Choir concerts tonight. Tomorrow night's the band concert, both in the activity center. We have senior scholarship night Thursday night in the activity center. We also have Rising 9th grade parent night, and that's going to be in the high school cafeteria, and that's on May 16th. It's gonna start at 6. Thursday, May 18th is graduation, so we're excited about that. Of course, that'll be in the activity center. We did ask the seniors if they're going to drive to park at the Charles Berry gym, and we'll shuttle them over there, because we have 129 senior cars out there, no one's gonna have anywhere to park, so, we're gonna park them over there. So everybody will have, good parking. We also have the ACT Aspire this week. This is the last week of AP testing. Friday, May 19th, we'll have our arena registration for our current 9th through 11th graders, so it's when they go in and get their schedules made before they leave the school year. And then, on Monday, May 21st, we're going to do the 9th grade, Rising 9th grade registration, and we'll just go down to the middle school and take care of that over there. So I don't know where April went. I blinked and it was gone, and May's almost that bad. It's fast and furious to the end of the school year. It's good stuff. Oh, we did our walkthrough, the senior walkthrough the other day at the elementary schools, and you've never seen big boys cry, that would have been the time to witness that. They act all tough until they go back and see their kindergarten teacher and their first grade teacher have been in there. I'll work on it, please. It takes a long time. But anyway.
You mentioned, yeah, we finished ACT last week, still got a few kiddos, doing some makeups. We had pretty good attendance, for that. She mentioned the choir concert is going on right now. Art show was today, if you made it down to the Charles Berry Gym. Mr. Taylor is a world beater. You know, he was down there doing that today too, getting ready for this. So some really incredible pieces of art down there for kids all across the district. It was really cool. She mentioned our band concert tomorrow night. We're doing an 8th grade teen summit on Wednesday in the Activity Center. I think that'll be really good for our kids. Let's see, Friday we had the 5th grade coming over to tour the campus to get ready for next year. And then Monday, May 22nd, our 7th grade awards at 8 a.m. 8th grade awards at 9 a.m. Those are going in the cafeteria. That afternoon, they'll go on their picnics. And then on the next day, Tuesday, May 23rd, will be the 6th grade awards at 8 a.m. And their picnic will follow that day afternoon. Just get to the end.
Did you get moved to Cornerstone yet?
Yes, we're moved. We are moved. Yes.
You looked a little more relaxed tonight than you normally do, so I was kind of.
Oh, well, thank you.
They've
And that
been,
was a job, but.
it's been a job, yeah. He only yelled at me a few times for it, so.
So I'm not doing it again. So we gotta stay a while. But yes, we're moved.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Our senior high principal mentioned choir. In going through the financial documents in the packet that you sent me, I noticed that we did not spend any money or have any budget, zero. Everywhere I saw choir, 0, 0, 0, 0. Where does the funding for the music come from?
Well, we do have a budget for them. There is a budget.
I obviously.
They have an activity account.
Is that what I was looking at?
They won't have a,
And
I thought I was looking at activity accounts and I just didn't see any funding.
they also recently used some federal dollars. Tasha overseas to buy some dresses. We did that just this past month.
I know that they have,
Uniforms.
they do have a budget, they do have a booster, but we purchase, they don't go without, you know.
Well, I just didn't see any money
Yeah.
going to them, and
They
when
do
you
get-
mentioned it, I thought of that.
Yeah, they don't get as much as band, but,
Sure.
you know, they do get some. Band, you know, a tube is $3,000, so, you know, a little more expensive than copyright.
She buys music every year.
Yeah.
And if you're looking at the activity funds are not budgeted, just because that's just money that they bring in, you can't budget
And
it.
looking at balances for activity funds, I also noticed we've got like 2018 class of, and, you know, several classes, we're carrying a balance for them. Does that need to be cleaned up?
I've contacted those people that, you know, the senior class president and them, and they've never, we did clean a lot of them out, but we still have a few hanging out. It's up to them to come take care of it.
There's quite a few.
There are, yes.
I was looking through that, I mean, there was one from like 2005 or 2000. Yeah, there was.
Who was your class president, Josh?
I was 2004, ours.
Oh,
ours-
That's off the subject, but just.
I'll make this announcement so if anybody hears it. If they just want to donate it back to the junior class for next year, we'll take it back for prom. If those classes just want to donate it back.
Don't everybody talk at once.
All right, I didn't know we were done. Just working on budgets for next year, still finishing up special education testing and wrapping up, collecting data and documents for the year and trying to get all of that uploaded.
I have a question, because when I was looking through here, and I'm sure it has to do when we get our funding, like it says balanced federal grants fund, it's like a negative 155,000.
Federal programs works different than all of our other funding, and so it's a reimbursement program. We have to spend the money first, and then we're reimbursed for it the following month. So it always carries that negative balance.
Thank you.
Well, Michael took the best thing I had to say, Dad.
Well, he mumbled, we didn't hear him very good.
So we have been working for a couple years to get these adaptive swings for both campuses, for primary and intermediate, and finally, we've got the approval, we've got the equipment is finally here, we've got dirt, red dirt stuff over there. And the good thing I think about the intermediate is actually expanding that playground a little bit. We're gonna have a sidewalk poured and some access from the cafeteria, so some good additions to that building with some of that ESSER money that was granted to special ed. We found out today that our 2022-23 program for special education was approved. We met all the requirements for our program this year, so that's good, not toting flags there. And we will be doing our extended services program for students in special ed for this school year, June, for 3 weeks in the morning, so. And then I have a little bit more of the next topic. I'll wait till that comes up.
Okay, well, save the best for last. A lot is going on. We're wrapping up MAPS testing this week at primary, so we're excited to see our growth this school year. We are also in the middle of our kindergarten registration, and just comparatively speaking, from last year to this year, we're up about 10 more kids for pre-registration. I know that's not a lot. We get the biggest majority, big push sometime in the July when the school supplies hit the shelves and the parents say, oh yeah, that's me. So we're excited to see those numbers grow and kind of put back into that enrollment count again. It is Teacher Appreciation Week. Thank you for the cookies today. Our teachers really said those were the best cookies ever, whoever made those.
Don't do some for the rest of the campus.
Yeah. She did, but she dropped it off. She said that they were for each.
She said the rest of the campuses will be tomorrow. So
yeah, they were amazing. So y'all are in for a treat. They really are so good. One thing I wanted to talk about that we're excited about doing this year that we haven't done before is a pre-K to kindergarten academy for any students that are enrolling in our kindergarten program. When we sent home kindergarten packets, we put just a survey, hey, would this be something that you would be interested in coming in for 4 weeks, a couple of hours a day, where our pre-K teachers can build some of those readiness skills, even just, how to be at school and follow rules and, have a structure to their day where some of those students haven't had the opportunity to be in a structured environment. So we're excited about that. We had there were about 80 kids that were interested in it. So our pre-K team is working on organizing that according to what was going to work for those families. So we're excited about that, and hopefully just kind of, I know Bruce had mentioned that St. Paul did that last year. All of their incoming kindergartners came, and their teachers said it made a huge difference in how the beginning of their year started. So we're hopeful. We're giving it a try and see how that goes. But we will have kindergarten graduation at the new facility, the AT and Georgia Smith Activities Center on May 23rd at 6 p.m. It's the first time we're going to do it, all of them together, in many, many years. So if you come, have a little grace. We're excited. We've got some really cool things. Our PTSO has done a wonderful job supporting kindergarten and just making it something special for all of us. So we hope you guys can go. You'll be there. You'll be there.
I'll be there.
I have a laundry list of things that Ms. Hawkins had from the intermediate school. She was unable to be here tonight. I'll just say that there's something going on every day, multiple things going on every day. From field trips, they're going to be burning the rubber at Mitchison Park as much as anybody, it looks like. ice cream socials. They have a program fifth grade program on May 22nd at their cafeteria. And I just want to say, I think she did a great job today. It's not easy to present in honor of somebody else. She presented the bench and spoke and kept it together very well. She presented herself very well and presented the family very well. I just know I appreciate it, know how difficult that can be. So she did a very good job.
Very good. She held it together.
She
Very
did,
well.
she held it, and that's very tough to do in public speaking setting.
Did you have anything for Bruce?
Did not get anything for Bruce other than graduation is Friday at 7 o'clock. Everybody is
And that's at
welcome to be
St. Paul.
there at St. Paul Gym.
Okay, 7 o'clock.
I actually have it as 6 p.m.
Yeah, I thought it was 6.
Oh.
High school, Huntsville says 7.
I will confirm it and send it to you. I apologize.
6, I put it on my calendar. It says, I got this straight from the website, so.
Well, and that's just what I was looking at, so I could be wrong.
Haley?
But I'm pretty sure they corrected me because I had it wrong the first time.
I will make sure of the time and get it to you, no matter what.
I just clicked the link on
We
the
will have it
website and I was like, yeah, let's put that on the
You
calendar.
used it just like it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
But it'll be a good ceremony, for sure. I went to it last year and it's very unique. Not unique. It's good though.
Which are you talking about?
St. Paul's
St. Paul.
graduation
Okay.
ceremony.
We have it in the newspaper for 7 p.m. on Friday. So that's not right, Liz.
I will let you know as well. I'll confirm
That's
it with
another
him
story.
tomorrow, I promise.
Okay.
Let Saul know.
Yes, I'll let y'all know.
Could be over.
Yeah, it starts at 6, right?
That would be true. Show up at 7 and it starts at 6 and we do just be eating cake out in front.
Are school board members going to be part of that, or are they just present?
I can just go by last year, they set, kind of with the staff and faculty near the front, and, I don't remember that they participated as far as handing out diplomas or anything like that, but I don't know, I think we could talk to Bruce and see if that was what needed to happen. Yes, sir?
I will be handing out my own
Okay.
scholarships this year.
There you go.
I've had them in the past and I'm ready to hand out mine.
There you go. There you
I
go.
do have confirmation from Mr. Dunlap that it is at 7.
Okay.
Oh, it is at 7.
And in years past, the board president has handed out diplomas at St. Paul. Just from what we have pictures of.
Okay.
Just, no pressure, Whitney.
Well, I was gonna defer to Bobby because they're his people.
Yeah,
If
that
you,
would be very
if you
nice.
would like to hand out diplomas down there.
Sweet, thank you.
In Huntsville, the board president hands out, but sometimes they trade out because there's a lot.
Well, I know he's got youth group kids and I'm from preschool, so,
Yeah,
you know.
trade out.
And I know Miss Timber probably has some that she's.
Oh, that'd be true.
So,
Yeah. most
trade
of
out.
them.
I do have a question.
Yes.
While we're doing administration reports, at what point do we start doing the school lunch program and start sending that out? Is that a little bit later or
Usually start around July.
July? Okay.
Yeah, again, when those school supplies hit the shelves, everybody starts thinking about school again. We usually are putting things on the website, and really trying to start promoting
Yeah,
it.
because we need to hit that this year.
That's our goal.
I couldn't remember, I thought it was June, but
Yeah, if we do it too early, if they turn those forms in, then it doesn't do them any good. They have to do it again.
Gotcha.
So we have to wait till that rollover with the state.
that makes sense. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page on thinking about that this year. Staying on top of it, so.
Okay, moving on to new business, tab A, approval of special education applications for IDEA Part B 611 and 619 funds budget for the 2023-24 school year. This is an annual approval item that we do. It basically says that we're going to spend the money that we get and it's allotted the way that we're supposed to. We're going to follow the rules and regulations of the federal government.
Be a good idea.
Gone if you.
Yeah. It's due June first, so it has to be approved at the May, school board meeting, and basically, we're gonna follow the rules, so.
Yeah.
And it was teacher approval.
Make a motion to follow the rules.
I'll second.
All in favor?
I don't know what I'm voting on.
Follow
To
the
follow
rules
the
for
rules.
the budget for special education money.
We have a grant application due June first, and this is the assurances and the intent, but we're gonna do what we say we're gonna do.
I like that.
So, the grant money that we use for the special education equipment that we're putting on,
That was from ESSER, the rescue
okay,
from COVID.
okay,
That's
so that
rescue
doesn't
thing.
have anything to do with any of these grants?
Not this one.
Okay. I was just wondering if we were doing something down in St. Paul like this or not?
Not that I know of.
This was a special need.
This was, it has to be for special ed, and it was, playground equipment, or, I did buy some curriculum and different things like that, that was for all campuses, but we don't have anyone there presently that would need adaptive PE, playground equipment.
That's why I didn't know that. I just wanted to make sure that we're not, you know,
And that's
getting
not,
everything up here and then
Right.
need stuff down there also.
no, they're included in this application.
Tab B is approval of the educational cooperative representative resolution. So one of the first new laws that has come out, and the co-op has asked us to go ahead and move forward on this now, is not a change necessarily, but there was a reconfiguration on how the co-op structure of their board was maintained or is maintained. And typically, it has been the superintendents meet and basically perform board functions like you do on the first Thursday of every month. We review budgets, we approve personnel, we do pretty much exactly what you do here. The law that came into effect, it sort of opened up like who districts can now appoint that person instead of just being the superintendent. You can appoint, one of yourselves, a district employee, or a member of the community. I am making the recommendation that you appoint me as the Huntsville representative for the Northwest Arkansas Educational Cooperative Board of Directors. You're gonna see that all of the schools, they're pretty much planning on doing this as well. It's not that they're afraid of the change or anything like that, but the decisions that are being made are, we had to approve, they impact the school financially and fiscally and all of that as well. We, just approved last week or last month, the early childhood services that are provided by the co-op, and they had to increase their funding and they had to increase the cost, and we had to talk about can we afford all that. So there's a lot of things that are discussed in there that pretty much require superintendent knowledge or background. So I would recommend that you approve the resolution as written, that the superintendent be appointed to the board of directors for NWA ESC as a representative.
I make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor? Motion carries.
No, when I was reading that the other day, I was like, oh man.
Yeah, you said we're important.
And then I got down to the bottom and said, Jonathan Warren.
They have.
We stuck over with the legislation. Right, exactly.
They have teacher representation on their, they call it TCC, the Teacher Center, there, that they outline what they're gonna do professional development wise and stuff like that. So they have good representation of all. Last action item in the new business is the approval of bids for rekeying the district buildings. This comes from a safety grant that we have received. This is one though, I mean, you know, you see the amount there, $142,993. It rekeys all of our district building doors. And gets us to basically the ability to have one master key. We can then also create keys. We would own the devices, the device, and Bailey and Michael will know more about what to call those devices, I'm sorry, but we would have the ability to create those keys, change the locks as we needed to, if we needed to, that type of.
Proximity type key or manual key?
It's a physical
Card-
key.
Physical key.
Physical, okay.
Yeah, they, we'll have our, like, so we'll have our own key blank, it'll be a restricted key that nobody else anywhere has. We'll make, like I said, make our own keys in-house, and they're a best key. We have some already, a lot at middle school, there's several at St. Paul. You don't have to change the whole cylinder, you can just pull it out, stick another keyway in, you're done, I mean, a minute. And it's that quick, we'll be able to repin anything we need to repin. We've had very good luck with them, they're very durable.
Yeah, 'cause I think there's way too many keys to our buildings
Oh,
out there
yeah.
circulating around right now.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, it's regulated for ever.
Right.
So how does that work, like, my door where I would go in, it has Bob, but it would
There's still
also
a
be.
physical, there's still a physical key there, you just
Right.
use your access control.
But, so during the day it's open and then the custodians lock it at night, or what is the
No.
It
purpose?
stays locked at all times, but this would give us a
Oh,
physical.
this makes that pop open rather than a physical key?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, there's an electric strike, so when you scan your badge, that strike unlocks so that you can pull it, or if you had a physical key, you could put it in the cylinder and turn it and it would open the latch.
And this is all the exterior doors, not
This is the
interior?
entire district, every closet, everywhere.
Yes.
So are you asking teachers what they, like, science, for instance? That room on the end's too little, so I'd have to get things from Vicky and Philip's rooms. Will they be asked so they can have a key that's shared for that department?
Well, we can do that a couple different ways. One, yes, we can do that. So we'll have a grand master key that administrators will have. And then, like custodians, say maintenance and technology would have that. Custodians, would have a key that would open most doors. I mean, there's specific doors like principal office, things like that, but they're still the same key, they just won't open that. I mean, you're still down.
Like the science closets, it wouldn't
Yes.
open the science closets,
Right.
okay,
We can get as granular with it or as broad as with
We
it.
can,
that's awesome.
and still keep our keys down to a minimum.
And we're still brainstorming what that looks like, we could get it something as generic as one teacher key, and, you have one teacher key for the whole building. And it gets you in any room designated that teacher needs access to. Or you can get as granular as do it by wings and, all science department has a key kind of thing.
That's awesome.
It's something that is definitely needed from a security standpoint.
I think we can all agree that there are too many keys floating around, and we need a solution. But is there any way to do this for less than $142,000? What you're describing is a Cadillac system. Huntsville School District can't afford.
It's a grant,
It's a grant.
Whoa, let's talk safety now. Now I'm ready for it. This is a safety grant.
Yes.
Okay,
For
remember,
certain things.
It will
okay,
cover
that's what I
windows.
wanna know.
Windows do not fall under the list of allowable expenses.
Thank you. That's what I wanted to know.
I'm just saying where you're going with it.
But the thing of it is, with the 0.4% interest, that's a poor example anyway. But what can we do with that safety money that would offset some expenses we may have? Because when this says this would be 100% funded and the district would not be out any money, the first thing that pops up is question mark, question mark, question mark. That's a pretty definite statement. So what can it be used on?
The grant?
Yes.
Well, there's 3 pages of 3 different priorities, and so essentially you have to meet all priority 1 items before you can go to priority 2, which is where this grand mask which rekeying falls under priority 2. For the most part, we meet all the priority 1 items as far as, and this comes from the,
So my question is, are we spending money for things that could be financed with this safety grant out of general funds?
no.
No.
Okay.
I mean, nothing comes to mind that we could offset the
I don't have
cost
any more
of it.
questions, I'm ready to go.
Can I get a motion to approve the
I make a motion.
grant? Can I get a second?
Also,
All in favor?
Okay. Moving on to, section 7, transfer request, we have 3 transfers. 2 into Huntsville, 1 out of. I didn't entertain a motion to approve the transfer request.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second. All in favor? Motion carries.
Moving on to personnel. We have personnel resignations, hires, transfers. I would entertain a motion to accept the personnel as presented.
Can I get a motion?
So,
Can I get a second? I'll second. Second, all right, all in favor? Motion carries. Yes.
that's what somebody else chimed in.
Resignations, certified Clarissa Wood, Watson Primary Pre-K teacher, 6/30/23, Cole Harriman, Huntsville High School coach and teacher, 6/30/23, Bailey Money, intermediate teacher, 6/30/23, Melissa Woods, intermediate teacher, 6/30/23, Victoria Dotson, high school teacher, 6/30/23, Leisha Johnson, middle school teacher, 6/30/23. Classified resignations, Leah Knowlton, HHS special education paraprofessional, 5/3/23. Hires, certified, Hayden Phillips, Huntsville High School Spanish teacher, 7/1/23. Brady Bernard, Agri instructor for Huntsville High School, 240-day contract, 7/1/23. Nathan Alexander, St. Paul Music, 7/1/23. Classified hired Ms. Melissa Smith, St. Paul Food Service, 180-day, 7/1/23. Transfers, Sheree Meeks, Watson Primary Special Education teacher to Watson Primary Classroom teacher, 6/30/23. Allison Dotson, intermediate school teacher to middle school teacher, 6/30/23. And Angela Delaport, high school teacher to middle school teacher, 6/30/23.
in looking at those resignations, I see a lot of names that have put in a lot of work, dedicated their life to doing a lot of good here, and I just wanna say I appreciate those people and the efforts they put in.
I agree. Alicia was one of my teachers in school, and Vicky as well.
Same.
Yeah, I think they did a good job. But no,
They can only do as good as what
and
they
I
do.
enjoyed, Alicia worked up there at middle school while I was principal up there, which that was kind of hard to get used to, her being a teacher under me after her being my teacher, but she's great and she's put a lot of work into this district for sure.
Okay, section 9.
Do we need to approve those?
You already did.
Oh, we did.
Sorry.
They don't read until after they approve. Hand camp ramp, is it gonna make it for graduation over there?
Door?
Yeah.
Door is in,
Or the
it's
door,
working.
yeah, that's right, it's working.
It's there.
Yes.
We just have to make sure we dog down the panic bar, otherwise it won't work, so.
I do, when y'all go to graduation at Huntsville, look at the eagles that the welding group has created to put on the, I don't know what they're called.
Well, they'll be pulled out.
Oh, they'll be pulled out. Okay, I'll have one. Can we set one over where they can look at it? Okay, they went and cut out eagle heads and welded them onto the traffic control things, I guess is what I'm talking about inside the gym to keep people spaced off. So they look really nice and they were painting them black the other day when I was out there.
They are pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's the new head, the new eagle head, they're black, but it's the marine one, so they look really good.
Do we have any information on turning radius for school buses or fire engine?
No luck with the manufacturers. We've been able to pull a little bit where some universities have conducted their own research.
Do I need to take measurements on your bus and plot it?
Well, from everything we can tell, we're within compliance. We checked with the fire chief, he was fine with it. Everything we can find information-wise on the buses indicates that it is within compliance on the turning radiuses.
I'll be quiet.
And maybe I lost focus, but Thursday night is, I believe, senior awards, scholarships, they'll be given out.
At the AT, at Smith Building. It's getting its use this week.
It is. Good.
Anybody else have anything? I'll take a motion to adjourn. Makes a motion, second by Connie, Morgan, and Steve, and all in favor?
Thank you all.
So-